Hello and thanks for joining us on your number one labor program on TV, the Tripartite. The Tripartite is Africa's number one program on TV. I am Abulu Osemahu. You have the top stories shaping the world of work, government policies, employers' organization strategies. I would like you to stay tuned as we expatiate on these top stories later on in the program. The Tripartite is Africa's number one labor program on TV. You can be part of this program as it's open to partnership, sponsorship, and support. Now, here are global news shaping the world of work. The International Labour Organization ILO's Director General, Gilbert Hongo, has unveiled the first ever program on living wages, along with International Trade Union Confederation ITUC General Secretary Luke Triangle and International Organization of Employers IOE Secretary General Roberto Suarez Santos. The program is in line with the 2024 Tripartite Agreement on wage policies, including living wages. Estimations of living wages will be based on the ILO methodology, using data from national statistics offices in consultation with employers and workers' organizations. The program will also seek to strengthen wage-setting institutions, particularly collective bargaining and minimum wage systems, and also identify root causes of low pay. The program will estimate operationalization living wages for the first time since the establishment of the ILO in 1919. $664 million workers globally earn poverty wages. This is according to the International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC, which has revealed that at least 664 million workers worldwide do not earn enough to lift themselves and their families out of poverty. This figure represents 1 in every 5 workers globally. In light of this, the ITUC has called on government and employers to engage in genuine social dialogue and to ensure that living wages become a reality by strengthening minimum wage frameworks and expanding collective bargaining systems. To estimate and implement living wages in accordance with tripartite principles, ITUC General Secretary Luke Triangle explained that this initiative builds upon a landmark agreement reached in February 2024 in which ILO constituents adopted a shared understanding of the living wage concept and the principles guiding its estimation and application. Triangle reiterates the ITUC's call for government and employers to commit to genuine social dialogue, emphasizing that living wages are fundamentals to inclusive and sustainable economic development. Now the ILO has unveiled another new report which has developed key data on web-based platform work in Latin America and the Caribbean. The report provides unprecedented data on workers in web-based digital platforms in Latin America and the Caribbean. This study focuses exclusively on workers who perform tasks through web-based digital platforms. These platforms connect workers and clients remotely without requiring a specific geographical location. Tasks range from programming and graphic design to repetitive micro-tasks such as data tagging or training artificial intelligence systems. Unlike delivery or transport platforms, these platforms link workers and clients globally via the internet. Now let's take a look at this interesting development. The Schengen News reports that Ireland is currently in need of a large number of foreign workers, especially in the construction sector, similar to several other countries. However, the long waiting times to obtain a visa are discouraging non-EU workers and pushing them to reach other countries instead of Ireland. The Construction Industry Federation, CIF, of Ireland revealed that non-EU workers have to wait for up to 4 months in order to receive a response to their applications. Such a long waiting period, according to CIF Director Sean Downey, is putting many potential workers off from reaching Ireland. It is a known fact globally that young people are the future of the global workforce today, but too many face barriers that prevent them from getting a foot in the door. With millions of young people not in education, employment, or training, it is clear that there is need for a bold and coordinated approach to tackle youth unemployment and unlock potentials across the world. In the UK, for example, the government has taken an important step with the launch of the Youth Guarantee, outlined in the Get Britain Working White Paper. This initiative promises every young person aged 18 to 21 years access to work, training, and education.
But we will go much further and faster to tackle this issue. To meet the scale of the challenge, we will devolve new funding, new powers, and new responsibilities to tackle economic inactivity to mayors and local areas, because local leaders know their communities best. Yeah. We'll support all areas in England to produce local Get Britain working plans, joining up work, health, and skills support. Today, I'm announcing 8 trailblazer areas backed by £125 million of additional funding.
And in Nigeria, I must tell you that the government has launched the Labour Employment and Empowerment Program, otherwise known as LEAP, to engage thousands of youth in skills development and self-reliance. But what exactly are the barriers these young people face in getting employment, and how can they dismantle it?
I am delighted to inform you that this program, when fully operational, will not only tackle youth unemployment, but will address other cross-cutting lingering issues.
Development finance institutions and the private sector, whether you are in education, trade, youth, development, technology, or agriculture.
The Tripartite. It's new, it's fresh, it's informative, it's educational, and it is authentic. The Tripartite holds onto the workers, the employers, the government, and the international development partners on a round table to critically dissect issues concerning employment, productivity, welfare, safety, and health. A people united can never be defeated. Join us on the Tripartite, the worker, employer, and government roundtable.
We told you in our top stories that the ILO, ITUC, and IOE have launched a campaign for a shift from minimum wage to living wage. Also, the ITUC has confirmed that 1 in every 5 workers earn poverty wages. Let's engage with the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Joe Ajero, for more insight on this living wage campaign. In the campaign towards the last minimum wage review, the NLC presented 615,000 naira as living wage, but it was thrown aside by the government, saying that we have not signed any convention on living wage. We are dealing with minimum wage. What's your perspective regarding this new development?
Well, I don't think that the issue of living wage has anything to do with conventions. As far as I'm concerned, the issue of living wage is the wage that could sustain people at a given time, sustain the worker in the environment he found himself. In the same vein, there are minimum wage that are paid in some environments that are living wages. If such a minimum wage is able to take care of the workers in that environment, then you could equate it to be both minimum wage and living wage. Yeah. Now, if all things were equal, as at the time we asked for 70,000, sorry, we signed for 70,000, and then if at that moment the fuel was still at maybe 100 and something, if at that time inflation was still constant, if at that time the currency was not floating, by now, if at that time there are social safety nets, transportation, government provides it, housing, government provides it, Medicare, government provides it, 70,000 would be enough. And by extension, it would be seen to be, living wage. Living wage has not to do with the quantum. If you pay Nigerian workers today 1 million naira, in view of the level of inflation and the valuation of the currency, that 1 million naira will not be a living wage. So it is clear we understand, all those indices that makes a worker to earn a living wage.
So it depends on the government policies now.
That is one. Inflation, two. The social safety nets that are provided, and the welfareist disposition of the state. Clearly, there are states that provide transportation for workers. There are states that provide accommodation. There are states that you have steady power supply. There are states that you have, water and everything. There are states that even that you have some incentive that the worker will only, maybe if he needs a car, if he needs a house, he chooses it and they deduct from his salary. So those are the issues. None of this is present here.
So can living wage and minimum wage go side by side in a country?
Perfect. They can. If the minimum wage can sustain the worker, and he will have extra savings, it is then a living wage. That, since everything is measured based on dollar, this is a benchmark. And that benchmark, assuming it is an equivalent of $1,000, countries can pay $2,000, and that's the only way you can even be talking about living wage that is acceptable to every worker in the world. However, even when you have a global living wage, the economy of each country will equally affect it. The level of inflation in each country will equally affect it. But at least there will be protection to every worker that what is earning in Nigeria, is what they're earning in Kenya. Even if you want to take it from the categorization of developed economies, developing economies, and underdeveloped economies, you can still find a semblance. But a situation whereby what we have today is not up to $500 per annum. Now how do you measure it? How does the ILO and all the world bodies protect the workers in Nigeria? That's the question. So if you have a semblance that workers should not earn less than this, whatever they are, you can still take into consideration countries that are earning less.
So in our top stories, we told you that the Organization of Trade Unions in West Africa, OTUA, tackles Donald Trump over recent tariff hike. OTUA Executive Secretary John Oda wants African countries to sit up right now.
It's happening globally since President Trump took over January 20th. Has been a consistent effort to dismantle the global order, from trade to military and all the things that we thought we had settled globally. And his recent efforts to bully every other nation around the world with tariff. Obviously had upset the global economic and trade matter. And what we need to do as the European Union has done is for the African countries to come together under the AU to fight this effort to roll back all that we had thought had been agreed with the WTO being in the forefront of setting rules for global trade. African countries need to realize that individually the United States will crush them. They need to come together and stick together and refuse to be bullied by President Trump and his people in the White House.
What role should trade unions play?
Well, the trade unions should be involved in mobilizing the people to stand behind their government as far as this is concerned, because all that is happening is creating incredible problems for everybody. And at the end of the day, the people will, the citizens of each of our respective countries will bear the burden through escalating costs of goods and services and inflationary trends, which the high tariff that is being imposed on each of our country will bring about.
You are still watching the Tripartite, the Worker, Employer and Government Roundtable. In our special focus for today, we are looking at the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria at 20. The event featured the award to former labor leaders, pioneers of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, labor rights activists and journalists. Yours truly was one of those who received the award.
It is the 20th anniversary of one Nigeria's foremost labor center, the Trade Union Congress, TUC, and a dinner and award holds to celebrate.
You should note that in TUC, we represent excellence. In TUC, we push for the best. In TUC, we try to eliminate mediocrity. So anybody that you are going to see that stands here tonight are people that have contributed their best.
Recognition was given to deserving employees across the country. Lifetime awards presented to two former TUC presidents, former Senator Femi Kila and Peter Elsley, as well as Akwa Ibom State Governor Umar Eno, for upholding workers' welfare.
I received award as the most friendly labor governor in Nigeria, and I'm very sure the governor have done his best to make sure that he deserves the honor.
All out, especially with encouraging or supporting quality leadership and women inclusivity, two strong things I stand for. So for me, these are the things I intend to put my energy into.
Of Nigeria, thank you. This award is not for me, it's for all the women.
It's unprecedented in the history of the Trade Union Congress. It has shown that when workers trust leaders, they don't need any other confusion in terms of whether there's going to be election or otherwise. It has shown overwhelmingly that Comrade Osifo had delivered. In fact, and it is against that background that there was no opposition. He returned unopposed. Clearly, leaders must learn from this.
Of AIT, please let's give him a round of applause.
AIT's Patrick Abulu clinched the most outstanding Labour journalist of the decade, alongside Friday Okeregbe of Channels TV, Collins Olayinka of Guardian newspapers, and Joke Adisa of TVC.
We are quite happy because you could see the people that we gave awards. You could see the excitement in them. Those that were not presented with awards today, they will go home and redouble their efforts, knowing that they may be awarded tomorrow. So we are quite happy, we are quite excited from the Lifetime Achievement Award given to the past presidents to the Workers Award that we gave out to about 10 workers cut across the different affiliates in TUC. To the Labour Award that we also gave out to the Labour reporters and editors because they have been doing yeoman's job across the various institutions. And also to the awards that we gave principally, like I said earlier, we have 36 state governors, they were all nominated, but we singled out one out of the lot because they are also employers of labor. And they are doing very well in terms of not just minimum wage, but consequential adjustment. They are doing extremely well, so we recognize them today. Just one state, Akwa Ibom State. Because for us in TUC, we don't flat our awards anyhow. We give award to those that truly deserve it.
Leaders talked about the good, bad, ugly in TUC's journey to becoming recognized as Labour Center locally and internationally.
I feel happy, I'm glad. Any good things deserve another. What I want to say, if you look at our 3 years on board, there are a lot of changes in TUC. In time of how to organize the members, in time how to follow the members' rights. So I think we thank God.
It's a journey that started somewhere from the days, I think over 80-something years ago. It metamorphosed even to first hand, from first hand to SESCAN. Today from SESCAN to what we call Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. Honestly, it is to the glory of God.
Because TUC has made the point that Africans, and in particular African workers, can build strong institutions. But you also know that we are only taking the benchmark of 2005. But you know that the history of TUC is long dated, well before 2005 when it got registration. But even at that this great Labour Center has consistently kept to faith to its constitution, to its objectives of defending the interests of its members for 1 year, 2 years, and now 20 years.
We have to really appreciate the amendment of Trade Union Act 2005, which gave birth to these wonderful activities that mark the true beginning of TUC as a labor center. Even though we were struggling in the past with various names.
What trade union means to me for 20 years is that the trade union is a pillar of hope for the common man, the workers, their condition of service, their wages, and everything that concerns the welfare of workers. Just like the Bible said, it is worthy for a workman to have his wages.
To continue to exist, and it will continue to exist forever. And that means there is protection for the workers in our categories, which is the main purpose of establishing, registering the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. The only regret I have is that we need to do more. We need to do more than what we have done in the past. And I believe that the present president leading the Congress knows that, and that is why they are struggling to do more.
I think we have made a tremendous progress. TUC, for example, you must remember, is majorly for all senior staff. That was where we started. But now it's integrating more members from the rank and file, and not just senior staff alone now, because ordinarily the labor movement is supposed to be one. So when you look at what we have fought for over the years, I will not say we are perfect. I will not say we reached we are excellent. But I will tell you there is room for improvement. But where we are now, we are better than where we were yesterday. So for me, it's a tremendous progress that the TUC have made in the last 20 years.
What do you think they should be looking forward to?
What I think they should be looking forward to is the challenges that is coming. We are moving into the challenges that is coming is that we are moving into AI is coming up, and then you are going to have the direction of this administration is more capitalist. This is a capitalist country. And if you look at those who are also aspiring to be president of this country, they are all more capitalist in training, in orientation, and in how they conduct themselves. So what I expect the TUC to do is to be able to concentrate on what will benefit the workers, that is fair, the welfare of the workers, that is welfare driven of the workers, and maximize as much pressure. They must be ready to generate income. They must be ready to generate income to buy pressure, educate people on the challenges they are facing, build capacity to ensure that people are kept abreast of the changing dynamics in the economy of the world.
So many people wasn't really happy with us. Even the Senate then, it was only the committee, labor seats, what do they call them? The Committee of Labor in the Senate and the Committee of Labor in the House of Rep that supported us. The rest will always tell us, you have come so that you will scatter NLC. And it can be so painful because you know what you are fighting for.
To many, the TUC is only just beginning its journey to better days for Nigerian workers.
Now let's hear from you what you have to tell us on our social media platforms at the Tripartite TV. We thank you sincerely for investing your time with us. You can partner with us, sponsor any segment of this program, and support this program. I remain your host, Abulu Osemahu. Let's do this again.